Good morning, Barry Pirates. Today is Wednesday, March 30th. It's a B day for fifth grade. Please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Today, it's my pleasure to introduce to you some 7th and 8th grade students that went on an awesome trip over spring break with Mrs. Marshall to Washington, D.C., and they're going to be highlighting different women to recognize for Women's History Month that they learned about on their trip. I'm going to turn it over first to Peter.
Over spring break, several of us Berry students were able to travel to our nation's capital in Washington, D.C. Throughout our trip, we were able to learn about many inspiring women in history. We wanted to share you a few highlights.
The first woman we would like to share about is Abigail Adams. She was married to John Adams, the second president of the United States. She was an early advocate for women's rights and education. She and her husband shared extensive correspondence, and she became a vital confidant and advisor for her husband.
In 1776, as her husband participated in the First Continental Congress in Philadelphia, Abigail wrote her most famous letter to her husband. In creating a new government, she started the Founding Fathers Remember the Ladies. She added, "Do not put such unlimited power into the hands of the husbands. Remember, all men would be tyrants if they could." We were able to see her china and other personal belongings at the First Lady's exhibit in the Museum of American History.
Eleanor Roosevelt was married to President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. She served as First Lady of the United States from 1933 to 1945. She is the longest-serving First Lady in U.S. history.
In the 1920s, she began her involvement in the women's rights movement. She was a social feminist and supporter of the legislative protections for women. In addition, she supported the advancement of women in professional and political positions. One of her famous quotes state, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." This statue of hers is located at the FDR Memorial.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg was the second female justice in the United States Supreme Court. She was appointed by former President Bill Clinton in 1993. A wife and mother, she was one of 8 women out of 500 law students at Harvard Law School. She eventually attended Columbia Law School in New York City and graduated first in her class in 1959. Despite her outstanding academic record, she encountered gender discrimination while seeking employment.
Justice Ginsburg worked to admit women into state-funded schools. She paved the way for women to apply for credit cards and mortgages without a male cosigner. She worked for equal pay and women's right to choose. She pushed to protect pregnant women in the workplace and serve on juries in court. She was a key vote in legalizing same-sex marriages.
She made it cool to be a working female leader and continues to energize women today. She died in 2020 and was the first woman to lay in state at our nation's capital. We got to honor her at Arlington National Cemetery.
There are 120 orange statues on display around the Smithsonian Castle and Arts and Industries building. These statues celebrate women in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The display is the largest collection of statues of women ever assembled together, and it's titled.
One last thing. This is a picture of us with Camille Torres. She gave us a brief history and was testing to be the 6th female centennial at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Arlington Cemetery. We hope she made it. And in continuation of preparing for National Disability Awareness Month, I will be talking about ADHD. Attention Defect Hyperactivity Disorder, or rather known as ADHD, is one of the most common mental disorders affecting children. ADHD also affects many adults. It's a chronic condition including attention difficulty, hyperactivity, and impulsiveness. ADHD often begins in childhood and can persist into adulthood. It may contribute to low self-esteem, troubled relationships, and difficulty at school or work.
All right, big thank you to all of our guest speakers today on Morning Announcements. I also want to highlight that we're focused on integrity as our Pirates Rock trait for the month of March, as well as respect for Character Strong this week. Our teachers will be submitting student recognition for this Thursday by lunchtime, and we're excited to honor you on Friday. Lunch items for today are chicken tenders, spicy chicken patty sandwich, breaded chicken patty sandwich, barbecue chicken salad, cheese pizza, and meat lovers pizza. Wishing you an awesome Wednesday. Remember, at Berry, we learn and grow and